Hello, I'm going to do a quick review of the Tokai LS136. This is made in Japan. Apparently it's lemon drop, although it's very amber in real life. I don't know what it looks like on the video. It's even got the same font as the Gibson Les Paul on the writing. It's got made in Japan on the back and the serial number. Classic style tuners. The back's quite light for mahogany. It looks like two-piece. It looks very good quality wood. All the joins absolutely perfect. The binding is faultless. Typical Japanese build. Like I said, it's advertised as lemon drop. It's a lovely colour. I wouldn't call it lemon drop, it's too dark. It reminds me of beer, actually. I don't know who made this bridge. I think it's Goto, but it stays in tune, it intonates absolutely perfectly. I can only compare this to an Epiphone Les Paul that I had that I've recently got rid of with P90s, and I've just bought a Gibson Les Paul Classic 2019, so I'm going to compare this to that. I'm going to compare this to those two guitars. So where Gibson can struggle, I don't know why, is where the binding and the paint meets here. I don't know why they can't achieve tidiness, because they've been doing it for long enough. This is perfect. Tokai and other copiers of Les Pauls, they don't bind over the frets. I prefer that. Some people don't. Rosewood's dark. It's very there's not much grain in it, which makes it look a bit synthetic, but it's real rosewood. Inlays are fine, nothing wrong with them. They're all the same colour. Some inlays are different colours. Nut is fitted perfectly. I can't find one fault on this guitar. These usually retail at around £1,100 to £1,300. It's not their standard. I believe their LS150 is a one-piece back. It's nitro. It's got a few more premium features. This is not their standard, but it's not their top model. So apparently this has got a special thin poly paint. Well, it's either poly or it's nitro, in my opinion. The neck, I could only describe it as a 59 neck. It's quite fat, but it's not super fat. It's not like the 56 Epiphone reissue I had. It feels very flat. Comparing it to the Gibson Les Paul, I don't know what it is. This is probably more well made, more consistent, but there's something kind of synthetic about it. I can't really describe it. This is an absolutely great guitar. And if you buy one, you won't be disappointed. If you are thinking of buying a Tokai, Japanese Tokai, I would suggest buying a used one, because the residuals are quite poor. And if, say, you have a really, really nice Gibson that you don't want to gig with, you don't want to move around, buy a used one of these, and you might find you end up playing it more than the Gibson. But there's something about the Gibson Les Paul that this hasn't got. I don't know what it is. It's quite hard to describe, but for around £1,000, this is absolutely great. You can compare it to maybe a full thickness LTD single cut, which is £1,000. The LTDs are good. This is nicer. It's truer to a proper Les Paul. It's quite heavy. I'm not going to weigh it, but I'd say it's £10. Because my Les Paul's 9. My Les Paul is £9 and it's got classic weight relief. This is heavier. Like I say, flawless build quality, but a little bit like a Toyota. Won't let you down, but no character. I've played a lot of these Tokai Mark II pickups. They seem to put them in everything. Most Japanese models that have humbuckers. Not a massive fan. They're not terrible. Again, they're a little bit characterless. Oddly, I played the Mark II PAF Tokai pickups in a Japanese semi-acoustic Tokai, and they sounded great. Pickups are not relevant to me if I find a guitar I like, because they're very easy to change. So I'll give you some sounds. Neck pickup. Left the tuner on, sorry. Knobs are on full, middle position. And the bridge. Just go back to the neck with the tone up completely off. Now the middle. Tone off. Now some drive. I'm using the blues driver. So go to neck pickup first, all the tones are back on. Bridge. Super Overdrive on top of the blues driver just for the sake of it, because I don't You might like it. Okay, so yeah, it is what it is. It's a bit of an odd one, really, because I couldn't really advise anyone to buy a Les Paul or one of these, to be honest. With Gibson Les Pauls, you have to go to the shop and actually play them. You could play 10, 20 of them before you find a good one. I've found that more of the new models are nice, that it's easier to find a good one with Gibson. These, literally, if you just ordered them off the web and you looked at some good pictures, I don't think you'd be disappointed. But just remember that this is only a little bit cheaper now than, it's actually more expensive than a Les Paul Studio, and it's slightly cheaper than a classic. So it's all about the name on the headstock, isn't it? But they're very good guitars, and there's lots of good used ones. So that's it. If you've got any questions other than you're not loud enough, you're out of tune, you're shit, that's fine, just ask. Thanks.